What up? It's your boy T-Bird here on The Reaction. Now it's time for the meat and potatoes of Film Friday, which is the kill count from Dead Meat. Listen to this. So, I'm trying to switch it around a little bit. I did say I'm going to do some series. It's 2 series, but I'm going to switch this around and do the one series first, which I did was Carrie. And the other series afterwards, which we'll see. But in between that, in between either one, I'm going to do some different videos from whether it's the newest stuff or anything, trying to get caught up with Dead Meat, or stuff that was new before that. And there's another series I'm trying to catch up with too, because a lot of new series came out recently. So this one right here came out last week, I think, or recently though, and it's late. And the newest video that came out today or this week is related to this though. So this is the infamous Rob Zombie film House of a Thousand Corpses. I'm trying to remember, it's the one with the dude like not the Satan. So anyway, House of a Thousand Corpses is a cult classic, and it's one of the movies that starred the late Sid Haig, who we hope I say his name right, who we sadly lost this past year actually in September. And Sid Haig has become, before that, you know, Sid Haig was like best known for his appearance in a lot of blaxploitation film, playing mostly villains though back in the day. But he would later on become a fan favorite to the newer generation, and his appearance on a lot of horror movies, including the Rob Zombie films such as House of a Thousand Corpses, Devil Rejects, and there's another one most recently that came out that came up before he passed away, or around the time he passed as well too. So anyway, and I think it's like one of the first ones he did that's well known to the horror community, that made him a fan favorite to the newer generation. So anyway, I could be wrong. Comment down, correct me if I'm wrong. Comment down or in the chat, because it's gonna be a premiere, and let me know. But other than that, let's get to House of a Thousand Corpses, which is definitely gonna be a trying to look away. So without further ado, let's check it out. And I'm loving the little handlebar, James, and the little hairstyle. Because this is his newer stuff, so this is pretty much newest James Janice look.
Hey everybody, before we get started, I just have a couple of quick notes for my American viewers out there. This year, September, is the last month to get your census in, so please make sure that that's filled out for your household. The only way our representative government works properly is with an accurate count of its population. So again, please double check and make sure that your household has submitted its census. It only takes a few minutes to do online. Secondly, while you're at it, make sure that you're registered to vote. Do it now, don't wait until the last minute, because that might be too late depending on your state. Make sure that you're registered to vote, and then go ahead and request a ballot right now, and then fill it in and get it in so you don't have to worry about any postal service delays or anything like that. We all deserve to have our voices heard.
You heard me say it right.
Show.
Hold up. Before I go there, before we ain't doing the dance yet. You heard that right. Do we say it for real? We definitely. I mean, if you're support of the current president, that's you. I ain't got nothing against it, but we definitely need a change in the government for real. So your vote definitely counts. Anyway, let's keep on.
Our voices heard. All right, on to the show.
Let's get it.
Welcome to the Kill Count, where we tally up the victims in all our favorite horror movies. I'm James A. Janice, and today we're looking at House of a Thousand Corpses, released in 2003. House of a Thousand Corpses was the first film made by Rob Zombie, who's kind of a horror subgenre all unto himself. So far, I've only covered his Halloween remake from 2007 and its sequel from 2009, but if you remember those movies, then you already have a good sense of his style, which I can only describe as Hellbilly, after his kick-ass 1998 solo debut album, Hellbilly Deluxe. The Hellbilly style is gritty, gory, and nasty, with lots of naked chicks, excessive violence, and real mean characters who swear even more than yours truly.
Don't you fucking imitate me, it's fucking rude.
Fuck you.
Fuck you.
Zombie also has a tendency to inject music video-like style into his films, and nowhere is that more prevalent than in House of a Thousand Corpses, where it sometimes feels like half the runtime is taken up by flashes to non sequitur footage with extreme color grading. The superfluity of the Hellbilly style maxes out in Corpses and gets toned down in its 2 sequels, The Devil's Rejects, which came out 2 years later in 2005, 2005, and Three from
Three from
Hell,
Hell,
which didn't come out until 2019. The 3 films are known as the Firefly trilogy, named after the sadistic family of sociopaths who kidnap, torture, murder, and rape just about everyone they come across, usually while laughing and or pontificating. The trilogy is Rob Zombie's biggest work, with many fans and even critics, namely Roger Ebert, having high praise for the second film, The Devil's Rejects. Of course, different people dig different things, and if you're not into the grotesque, it might be hard to stomach the Fireflies. Personally, I have mixed feelings about Rob Zombie movies. I love his authentic point of view, and I don't mind the vulgar dialogue.
Yes, he does push the envelope like he did with the Halloween series, especially the second one. Like, Though I am turned off by his gratuitous use of sexual violence. Truth be told though, I actually really like House of a Thousand Corpses. It's a wild carnival ride of a movie that merges Americana with classic horror films, which Rob Zombie has always been a fan of. After all, his music video for Living Dead Girl was a direct homage to the classic German expressionist film, The Cabinet of Dr. Caligari. But because Rob Zombie gets so nasty so often, I got a sponsor for today's episode to avoid any YouTube fuckery. Raycon's earbuds offer premium sound with a noise isolating fit, so you can tune out the rest of the world while you rock out to Super Beast. With their convenient storage case, they'll give you 24 I'm gonna cut it down because it's gonna be like take half the film up. Already did my job for me, but fuck it. Let's get to the kills. The movie begins with terror, because Dr. Wolfenstein's on our screen. Make sure I'm in sync. Closely in sync. Oh, sorry, Wolfenstein.
I'm your host, Dr. Wolfenstein.
Well, make up your goddamn mind. Wolfie here, inspired by regional horror hosts like Vampira and the Ghoul, is played by the film's production designer, Greg Gibbs. Rob Zombie was originally going to play the character himself until he realized that Wolfenstein's outfit looks too much like his regular everyday clothes. He settled on a quick cameo as the hunchback assistant. In any case, Wolfenstein isn't too important for plot purposes, unlike this clowny motherfucker, Captain Spaulding. Spaulding is played by the late great Sid Haig, whose career goes back to the 60s and who always seemed like an awesome guy, despite how scary his characters could be.
They do it for the fans, because without them, we got nothing.
Captain Spaulding runs a gas station in the fictional Rugsville, Texas that also features a horror attraction and some delicious fried chicken.
It just tastes so damn good.
That looks good.
Looks like a great place to stop by for some clown chow, although that laughing animatronic outside sure is annoying. It's late Halloween Eve in the year of our new hope, and Captain Spaulding shooting the shit with his pal Stucky, played by Michael J. Pollard, who we saw as dirty old Herman in Sleepaway Camp 3. As you will come to see, Rob Zombie loves his character actors. His casts are always amazing. And in case you're wondering, Stucky's just as crude as Herman was.
Once he got caught, with a Planet of the Apes doll stuck up his asshole.
God damn!
I love a good clown that knows how to have himself one good laugh. Or two, for that matter. A couple of criminals bust in through the doors, failing to impress Spaulding.
Hold up.
I ought to jump over this.
Hold up. Did he raise his middle finger out when he freeze? Go back real quick. I'm sorry. Go back. Did he raise his middle finger up?
I love a good clown that knows how to have himself one good laugh. Or two, for that matter. A couple of criminals bust in through the doors,
he raised his middle finger up.
To impress Spaulding.
You miserable motherfucker. I ought to jump over this counter and bash your fucking balls in.
Even with a gun in his face. He remains unintimidated while this killer Carl guy demands the register money and begins a count of 10.
1. Fuck your mama.
Fuck your mama. That's why he like him.
Further embarrassed when Stucky identifies the other guy as a neighborhood kid teased as Little Dick Wick. And the nail in this burglary's coffin comes in rhythmic, repetitive editing. Spaulding shoots Dick Wick in the head, killing him as we learn where that obnoxious laugh for the clown outside came from.
Ooh, they got his
Spaulding Ben
brain.
finishes Killer Carl's countdown for him.
Most of all, fuck you! Goddamn motherfucker got blood all over my best clown suit.
The opening credits are basically an R-rated Rob Zombie music video, which is
Okay.
just friggin' fine with me. Dragula was my jam. Spaulding's Museum of Monsters and Madmen is visited by a car of young road trippers needing gas. They immediately become entranced by the place's decor since they're writing a book about roadside attractions in Middle America. Bill Hudley is played by a 34-year-old Rainn Wilson, a
Ray
full
Wilson.
5 years before The
Oh,
Office premiered.
this is why I keep getting mixed up with from The Office. Like I keep getting him and Bill Hader mixed up so much. It's crazy.
And yes,
I knew
my
you were
math is
familiar.
correct, because although House of a Thousand
couldn't think of
Corpses
it.
was released in 2003, it was filmed in the year 2000, meaning it's also before this 29-year-old Chris Hardwick blew up. He
What?
plays Bill's chucklefuck friend,
Wow.
Jerry Goldsmith. The story of
He
how
looks
this movie
totally
got made
different.
is an interesting one. In 1999, Rob Zombie partnered with Universal to make a maze for Halloween Horror Nights called The Thrilling, Chilling World of Rob Zombie. He then came up with a name for another maze, The House of a Thousand Corpses, and decided it would make for a good movie too, even if he didn't know what it would be about.
I told them kind of a cool title with a completely half-ass idea that I was making up as I was talking to him.
Universal went for it, giving Zombie a ton of money and their historic backlot to shoot the film. But after a test screening, the studio dumped the film, with chairperson Stacy Snyder fearing it was too extreme and would be rated NC-17.
Universal fell apart because the chairman of
always
Universal
like
said
that,
that the
for
movie
real.
was
A lot of things
a
on good amount
celebration of
movies
depravity.
got, like,
and she just
had
couldn't
problems with that.
be part of that.
Zombie actually bought back the rights to his own movie, which doesn't happen very often, and after a brief flirtation with MGM, eventually found a distributor in Lionsgate who was willing to take a chance with
Like
the
it's
movie.
always
Remember,
MVP.
in the early 2000s, most mainstream horror films were still teen-oriented Scream knockoffs. Rob Zombie made something that was, not that.
I'm a real horror movie fan, so it was really great to finally get to do a real horror movie after all these years of watching all the crap that's been made.
Captain
Damn.
Spaulding briefly gets aggressive towards Bill, accusing him of class condescension,
I's got to get me some education. Jerry, you asshole.
but turns out he's just clowning around. Or is he? He is. Or is he? Jerry and Bill's girlfriends are also traveling with them, a couple of wet blankets named Denise Willis and Mary Knowles. Really, the only thing they get to do as characters is complain. It's a bit of a bummer. They take that negative attitude onto Captain Spaulding's murder ride, a push-powered parade of some famous real-life killers like Albert Fish, Lizzie Borden, and of course, the lean, mean, horror movie-inspiring machine, Ed Gein. Their grease paint Willy Wonka
that's the
ushers
inspiration
the
to,
travelers to the
that's the
finale
inspiration to Texas
of this
Massacre.
wonderfully designed
Chainsaw
kaleidoscoping
Massacre.
experience, a local Rugsville legend.
Dr. Satan.
Dr. Satan!
There we go,
Dr.
yup.
Diablo worked at a mental hospital where he experimented on the patients until the town came together and hanged him for his crimes. His body disappeared the next day and nobody knows what happened to him. And that's the story of Dr. Satan. Dr. Satan! Dr. Satan! As Bill's
Yup.
girlfriend Mary
I know
scoffs
from
and
the
complains
previous.
some more, Denise calls her suburban dad, old Matt Damon, interrupting his marathon of Wolfenstein. She tells him where they are and that the pit stop is causing them to run late on their way to his house. And they're not gonna get there any quicker after Jerry makes Spaulding draw him a map to the tree where Dr. Satan was hanged. On their way to the macabre site, they pick up a hitchhiker, Texas Chainsaw style.
shit.
This woman is named Baby and is played by Sherry Moon Zombie, Rob's
Zombie's
girlfriend during
one.
production, wife by time the movie was released, and kinda like his muse all the time. I wonder what Baby's thoughts would sound like in staticky lo-fi.
Whatever you need to do, you do it. There is no wrong. If someone needs to be killed, you kill him.
Yeah, probably just like that. These random vignettes that pop up frequently were filmed after the rest of the movie was shot, and after Universal had pulled the plug. In an effort to finish his film, Zombie shot these segments, including Spaulding's fried chicken commercial, on a 16mm camera in his basement with his own money.
Oh,
The
wow.
travelers are unable to make it to the Satan tree since that dude from the end of Midsommar aims at and shoots out their tire. Luckily, Baby says her house is
Yeah,
nearby,
explain.
so she
Yeah, I
leaves
remember
Bill
what
there to
Midsommar
get
is.
some help. Hope they get there fast, or else they'll miss this performance by Bill Moseley as Baby's adopted brother, Otis B. Driftwood, a kind of nihilist egotist who thinks chaos is the only proper response to our chaotic world.
An escapist from a conformist world destined to find
Not sure what just
happiness
happened.
only in that which cannot be explained.
Bill Moseley, who was previously on the kill count as the iconic Chop Top Sawyer in Texas Chainsaw 2,
Music is my life.
gives a just as incredible performance throughout the entire Firefly trilogy. Otis Driftwood is an evil, nasty man, but damn is Bill Moseley good. His captive audience right now is a group of cheerleaders kidnapped from Rugsville High School. Two of them are seen to be dead already in a non sequitur guitar-backed interlude. Baby and Bill get to her house, and after she shows him her creepy doll collection, she takes him inside. You may recognize the Firefly family house if you frequent Universal Studios. It's Chicken Ranch, built for and featured in the best little whorehouse in Texas, and it currently resides on the backlot where the Psycho House originally stood.
Wow.
Over some ass crack and marshmallows with cocoa, Baby and Bill kind of flirt with each other.
Ain't the only thing tasty in this house.
Okay, openly flirt. And subliminally, subconsciously flirt? I don't know, man. At the car, the others turn on the headlights to find the Bear Man. But they relax when they realize that this is Baby's half-brother RJ, short for Rufus Jr., and he's got a tow truck ready that he uses to bring them back to his house. Inside, they all meet Mother Firefly, played by late 70s film icon Karen Black, who's just as flirty as her daughter Baby. Since it's gonna take RJ a few hours to get them a new tire, Mama Firefly insists the visitors join them for a Halloween Eve dinner and show. Baby gets ready for her performance while tormenting the surviving kidnapped cheerleaders.
Give me a B. Give me an A. Give me a B. Give me a Y. What's that spell?
They still torment you.
What's that spell? What's that spell?
Better get it right. Looks like the spelling bee losers here lose more than just their school spirit. While recreating the dinner scene from Texas Chainsaw Massacre, the travelers meet another member of the Firefly fam, Tiny, who wears bandages around his head. That's because when Tiny was young, his daddy Firefly, Earl, tried to burn down their house to expunge it from demonic possession. Tiny is played by Matthew McGrory, who had acromegaly and who holds the Guinness record for world's tallest actor, standing 7'6". Rob Zombie asks how he could possibly make this chainsaw homage any more obvious, and Mama Firefly writes down an answer for him. Grandpa Hugo Firefly is played by Dennis Fimple in his final film role before he died in a car accident in 2002, before the movie even came out. Damn. At least he got a taste of what it's like to live in 2020, though.
Everybody put on your masks.
Otis shows up with a baby in a jar, getting Mama all excited, and warns Jerry not to pursue the matter of Dr. Satan any further.
Better you leave here with your head still full of kitty cats and puppy dogs.
The meal is messy and quick because Grandpa's eager to get to his favorite premium cable station, and it's not HBO. It's showtime! Grandpa Hugo gives a not at all tight 5, a ribald performance that consists mostly of saying the word pussy and screaming into the microphone. But he's just a warm-up act for tonight's big number, a ghastly, ghostly performance by Baby Boop that really gets the guys going.
Let's look at that as Chris Hardwick, though. He looks so different with the facial hair and all that. With the hair, long hair.
Larry's not a fan of the show's interactive elements, though, and violently pushes Baby to the ground right before things get to full-on mastectomy mode.
I'll fucking cut your tits off.
RJ bursts in and declares that their car is finally fixed. The foursome goes to leave, but when Bill gets out to open the gate, he's attacked by a spooky scarecrow.
Oh, shit.
Beats him with a pipe. Jerry is also beaten down and then thrown into the windshield by a second scarecrow.
Ooh.
And after Otis and Tiny reveal themselves, they then overpower Denise and Mary. This wet night of mayhem ends with some flashes of negative imagery and Otis looking like Insanity Dufresne. Come morning, Denise's dad dad, Don Willis, is wondering where his daughter is, so he calls up his old co-worker, Sheriff Frank Houston, and asks him about Captain Spaulding. Houston knows of the place, since he was there getting gas in that opening scene, so he sends 2 officers to Spaulding's one-stop shop to question the clown. Deputy George Wydell is played by Larry Redgrave, who was an ill-fated security guard in the theatrical version of Zombies Halloween, while Officer Steve Nash is played by the wonderful Walton Goggins, previously seen in the Predator's kill count as a nasty convict. Spaulding confirms that he saw Mary the previous night, but says he doesn't know what could have happened to her and her friends.
Stupid ass kids probably got themselves turning around ass backwards and got themselves lost.
Mary wakes up inside a crudely decorated room with Otis providing some socio-economic resentment for breakfast.
Listen, you Malibu middle-class Barbie piece of shit, I'm trying to work here. Work? You ever work?
Calm down, Otis. You got the crazy eyes going on. Though, that's probably just your default look, huh? Bill would certainly agree that these looks are nuts, since last night they tortured him, slicing his face with a razor while dancing to the Commodores. Just to be clear, listening to the Commodores isn't torture, but a case could be made for listening to babies laugh. Also, for cutting off Bill's head. That's pretty cool. And they didn't just torture Bill, they killed him too, turning him into Fish Boy as revealed to Mary, who reacts with very appropriate disbelief.
This can't be real. This can't be real. This can't be real. This
That
can't be
is
real.
But it is real. The Fish Boy creation was based on Fiji mermaids, an old P.T. Barnum era sideshow attraction that was usually a mummified monkey body sewn to the ass end of a fish. Looks like Rainn Wilson just stuck his upper half out of a Fish Boy suit that Rob Zombie still owns to this day. I don't know for sure how the effects were done,
Speaking of, I got
because
old shoulder for
sadly,
that
all
black,
this movie's behind-the-scenes
thing.
footage and deleted scenes were lost, meaning we'll never have a director's cut or an in-depth making-of documentary. That also explains why the Blu-ray specials were just some basic black and white interviews and, knock-knock jokes?
Knock knock.
Who's there?
Fish boy.
Fish boy who?
Tiny fucked the stove.
Heads up for sexual assault content, because here's where it starts. Though in this movie, Otis's actions are limited to forced kissing and licking. It'll get a lot worse in the next 2 movies, but I'll give proper warning when it does. As Mary's enduring that, Denise is having dreams of a deleted side plot involving a farmer whose wife was raped by a Sasquatch-like skunk ape? Huh, wonder why that got cut. Her psychedelic dream ends with a Dr. Satan jump scare, and she wakes up tied to the bed, dressed like a goddamn Grady girl. At least Tiny's here to bring her breakfast in bed. Aw, he's just as thoughtful as Andy Barkley, that tiny firefly. Almost as adorable too. Much nicer than Otis, who tosses Denise into a cage where she's attacked by, oh no, not dirty laundry golems. Jerry is hanging out with the creature when Baby stops by to pay him a visit.
Hey, poopy pants. What's new?
Well, eating hair is pretty new. Never done that before just now. Oh, and getting scalped. That's new too. Jerry ends up shorn and tied to the wall, where Otis uses him for knife throwing practice while watching the Munsters. Wydell and Nash eye Bill's car on the side of the road, and when they open the trunk, they find a patented Rob Zombie naked dead chick. Another of the kidnapped cheerleaders, later identified as Karen Murphy. Wait, why's Treat Trick carved into her skin? I always thought it was Trick or Treat. The officers are joined by Don Willis, an ex-cop himself, but they are not joined by a guy named Louis Dover, who ain't no rich man, but he knows the truth.
You don't have to go to hell. You're in hell. This is hell. This is hell. This is hell.
Cool. Hey, question for Rob Zombie. What the fuck was that? The cops make a nightmare trip to the Firefly house, where Wydell knocks on the front door to meet Mother Firefly, who flashes him her cleavage and yellow teeth before letting him into her home. Don Willis and Officer Nash go around back where they hear a noise coming from a locked up shed. They break it open to discover Mary surrounded by more naked dead chicks. There are 3 bodies here, all cheerleaders, but since an earlier news report mentioned 5 missing cheerleaders, and since I've already counted 4, I'll just take this opportunity to count the final missing cheerleader as dead. I can't tell who I've already counted since some of the earlier bodies were shown in lo-fi, but I hope that reasoning makes sense. As Slim Whitman Whitman's rendition of I Remember You plays, Nash radios for Wydell, which gets the deputy killed when Mother Firefly shoots him through the neck with a chief special. Don starts running, but he's shot through the back twice and dies face down in a puddle as happy Christmas memories play of him and his family, including Denise and a good boy. Whitman's yodels continue to fill the soundtrack as Otis moves in to execute Officer Nash, which he'll do right as soon as this song ends. Yep, any minute now. I mean, we know it's coming, so, Otis? Hey, Otis? Hey, guy, I've got a kill count to continue here. So could we please just... Jesus Christ, man, come on! Thank you. Good God. It's time for the night to get wild. And to kick things off, Baby and RJ go to Red Hot Pussy Liquors to stock up on booze.
Yeah, we like to get fucked up and do fucked up
Who's the guy playing RJ
Otis gets
Hills
the face skinning, bathed in red light, because tonight's festivities call for everyone to wear a costume. And Otis has got the daddiest one of all.
I'm the one who brings the Christmas candy. Now tell me, who's your daddy?
Well, Jim Janice, but I can see that you are, in fact, dressed as Denise's daddy, Otis. Man, you're
That's
such a
fucked
boogeyman,
up!
dude.
It's all true. The boogeyman.
Oh, that's fucked up!
And you
He killed
The
him!
Firefly family takes their bunny rabbit costumed captives out to a foggy field, and after mocking Jerry's pleas for mercy and sexually assaulting him with a forced kiss, the Fireflies toss him into a casket. Mary the bunny books it, and Baby chases after her, while a vignette of Otis confirms that this is not their first human hunt.
Lord.
Y'all run like scared little rabbits. Run, rabbit, run. Run, rabbit. Run, rabbit, run!
This rabbit does run right into a graveyard, presumably filled with other Firefly family victims. It's a place Mary will soon be joining, as Baby leaps onto her and stabs her to death. It's not all bad, though. At least Mary doesn't have to listen to that godforsaken giggling anymore. Denise is put alongside Jerry in the casket, and the Fireflies lower it underground, followed by a lantern with a tape deck that apparently summons some, zombies? That or mud golems. The mud golems tear apart the casket and abduct Jerry, after which they slink back underwater and leave Denise behind. Above ground, Otis finishes changing into some high priest attire and prepares a funeral pyre. They light Mary's body on fire, completing their family's Halloween ritual. And what did it do? Who fucking knows, man? If it's anything like most rituals, probably nothing. Underground, Denise is seized and stripped of her rabbit suit by a couple of old dirty bastards that experiences some vertigo in a tunnel filled with skeletons. Look at these bastard skellies, thinking they're so free without the burden of skin. You ain't better than me, you fucks! Denise ends up in a full-on underground house of horrors, full of production design that worked great for this movie's maze at Halloween Horror Nights in 2019. Rob and Sherry Moon Zombie visited the park to see the maze, and the irony of Universal having this after refusing to distribute the movie did not escape him.
House of a Thousand Corpses was a little movie made with Universal Studios that got dumped by Universal Studios, and now it's a giant event at Universal Studios.
Very strange. It's cute to watch them get scared by their own creations, and to see Sherry jumping around with the baby scare actor. They must have loved the maze as much as I did.
Oh,
I mean,
James.
the thing was awesome.
James and his girlfriend.
Hey, speaking of Dr. Satan, Mary just found him. He's got Jerry as a patient and is not at all concerned about malpractice suits. Because even though Jerry's still sputtering a bit here, the boy's as good as dead. In enters Earl, the steampunk goggle-wearing arsonist father of Tiny. We can just call him the Professor, though, because Earl Firefly is a pretty goober name. Professor Earl chases Denise away from Dr. Satan, which is a real shame. I wanted to see more of that dude, and he's sadly not in the sequels. He was supposed to be in Devil's Rejects, ripping out Rosario Dawson's neck, but the scene was cut because Zombie thought the character looked stupid in that much more realistic film. Sucks for actor Walter Phelan, who sat through the character's 15-hour makeup process all for naught. Denise runs through the underground labyrinth, but is eventually cornered by the Professor, who approaches her in a split diopter shot and takes off his mask so he can spit up some flash. Effects artist Wayne Toff designed these very very heavy professor costume that Jake McKinnon wore while portraying the character. He could hardly see in it, which made it pretty dangerous when he swung this real axe at Denise's actor Aaron Daniels.
Real axe, really?
He avoids the strike, and it brings down debris that seemingly crushes Professor Earl Firefly. In fact, many places online count this as a death. Not me, though. Morning comes, and Denise carries herself away from the professor's prone body, then carries herself above ground, hoping to put this nightmare behind her. She makes it out to a road and flags down a car driven by Captain Spaulding, who apparently has a hard time getting all that grease paint off each night. He says that'll take her to a doctor, so she can just sit back and relax. It's all good, Denise. Ain't nothing left to worry about no more.
Damn.
Well, almost nothing. The movie ends with a slow-motion knife raise and Denise finding herself a captive of Dr. Satan and the Professor, which is why I didn't count him as dead. I will count Denise, though. How many people died, and was it actually a full 1,000? Let's find out. Shit, sorry, y'all. I gotta run.
Here we go.
14 people died in House of a Thousand Corpses, which makes the movie title a bit of a misnomer.
Put the pitch body on him.
The victims consisted of 7 guys and 7 girls, and even split, though I'm having trouble remembering how many of each were naked. I'm sure it was also even, right? With a runtime of 89 minutes, that left us with a kill on average every 6.36 minutes. I'll give the golden chainsaw for coolest kill to Bill. Even though it was technically an off-screen kill, dude was turned into Fishboy. That's a better prank than Jim could have ever hoped to do. Dull machete for lamest kill will go to the first 2 cheerleaders seen dead on a bed. And that's it. House of 14 Corpses came out in 2003, though it was filmed 3 years earlier in 2000. It would take Rob Zombie less time than that to make a sequel, which I'll look at next week. Until then, I'm James A. Denise. This has been The Kill Count. Thanks a lot for watching this kill.
Alright, so here we go. That was the first of the Rob Zombie trilogy of the Firefly trilogy. I did not know these all go together. I thought it was just different films made by Rob Zombie, including the same character, same actors and actresses, but it's actually a sequel. So, anyway, this is good. This was a good kill count. Fucked up, but good kill count. So I think he's doing a lot with these kill count now, where he's getting sponsorship or anything, so you have to do the explicit version. Because I'm glad, because I'm tired. I'm a little tired of having to edit stuff, because that's why I didn't give a shit about the bones. And though I did react to this explicit version of it. So other than that, made it through. Well, this wasn't much to turn my head on, except the spit up part. Almost, I've been mad I lost to that, because it'd been like another with the thanks killing with the shit in the pot thing that was like an unofficial loss. Anyway, so next week will be a beginning of it. So I guess this is a franchise. I guess unfortunately, so I gotta probably break this down into another I gotta break this down with some franchise ball too. It's so much kill counts from Dead Meat I gotta react to. It's ridiculous. So much badass. So many anime I gotta watch. Anyway, but the next one will be a beginning of another series of horror. So other than that, if you like my reaction, I'm moving around because I got pee. Like, share, subscribe to my YouTube channel. It's your boy T-Bird signing off. One love, and I got pee.